Hello everyone and welcome to AOR Split 1 Season 9. I'm here with Fakeghostpirate for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Marco. Really excited to be joining you for this video. Spa is always a driver favorite and really, a commentator favorite as well. So we could see last season, Alex Gillen did take the win over Umar Boyaji, followed by Mini Black actually with a very nice podium there, with Umar Boyaji taking pole position actually over Alex Gillen. Last time out in Hungary, you got the win, but only because of Hamish's 20-second penalty, actually about almost 2 seconds behind him. So certainly going to be looking to extend that championship lead here in Spa today, and I'm sure it's going to be a good one because Spa just never disappoints. And so we've got the qualifying session here, and starting from pole position, so already off to a great start, over half a second ahead of Dashima in the Williams, and with your teammate Hamish not far behind him, just another 10th down on the Williams there. But starting from the second row though, so you got a nice little buffer between yourself and your teammate for the start of the race. Klowitzki starting in fourth, followed by Andre Kudranu. So nice gap though, you gotta say. Looking ahead to the race after seeing this qualifying time, were you feeling pretty good with that half-second gap in quali?
Yeah, definitely. As we go for the race, of course, it was a good qualifying session. Top 6 was covered by pretty much 6/10, but yeah, it should be close race, and of course dry as a bone because we have a dry lead these days because of the advantage on the pad. So yeah, we are going to start here with Thomas Irish in the McLaren actually from 10th place. And as we can see, we also see my POV in this little shot here as the lights about to go on. And take it away, Justin.
Yeah, we've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and I noticed that you're down in lean, and they're away, and we're off and on board with Thomas Irish in that McLaren, as you mentioned, just behind the Ferrari of Nick No Name, and a little bit of interesting things happening with the cars there, and actually it looks like Nick No Name's going to lose a couple positions to Burkhoff and Thomas Irish HD. It looks like he dropped down to 10th, possibly in 11th, but with that clear run from the front of the grid, wow, look at the gap already building as we go through Eau Rouge now, coming onto the Kemmel Straight, getting those tires warmed up, and wow, yeah, that is a pretty significant gap. So already off to a fantastic start here as we're on board with Hamish now, and he's getting swarmed right now on all sides. It looks like we're going to be going 3 wide into the corner here, and it looks like he is going to hang on to that position. So your teammate Hamish already up 1 position into second place after starting third. Oh, and there's a spin from the Lotus, and Thomas Irish HD thankfully was able to just kind of ghost through it, so no loss of pace for him there.
A lot worse for him, definitely.
For sure, and we got a couple of cars it looks like that's Andre, and I couldn't see who the second car was, but a couple of cars going side by side.
New guy who fell back from second place, very bad for him on the first lap, very, let's say, unlucky. Yeah, like you said, it was important to get the gap up Eau Rouge, because if people are in your slipstream, they can overtake you at the end, so definitely wanted to build the gap on the first lap there.
Yeah, and here's Thomas Irish actually getting in the middle of that battle between Dashima and Andre Kudranu, and unfortunately losing connection with Double Dee. Oh, yeah, and there's a screen freeze for Thomas Irish, so that's going to lose him some significant time to Andre Kudranu up ahead. Coming to the end of lap 1 now, though, on board with Hamish, and he's definitely got you in his sights here, but it's a pretty hefty gap. I'd say he's probably getting a little bit of a tow there, which is going to certainly help him keep Klowitzki behind. But yeah, almost an entire second, so he's still within DRS range, but with a whole nother lap to complete before DRS is activated. So I imagine you got to be feeling pretty good so far at this point.
Yeah, I was just up in Ridge for like most of the laps, because I like you said, I wanted to get out of that DRS zone as soon as possible to get Hamish off my back, and hopefully plan B was, if that didn't happen, I would like driving back into my into the pack really.
And picking up another 10th or 10th and a half through sector 2 there, extending that gap and getting him out of DRS range actually. and Klawitsky as well looks like he's dropping off of Hamish as well. So some nice gaps forming here in the early stages of the race. Certainly looking good for the Mercedes guys at this point. But I gotta say, Hamish has seemed a little bit scruffy so far in this lap. I've seen him in the grass a couple of times, running wide a little bit at times through Pouan here last lap. Noticed Hamish went a little bit wide, and so it seems like you've got, if not the pace, then certainly the confidence and the precision over your teammate, at least so far right now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that the wheel also helps with more, like, say, specific inputs compared to a controller.
Yeah, certainly. As you could see, the wheel kind of jerking there. Oh, he's gone a little bit deep through the chicane there, the bus stop chicane, and didn't quite hit his apex. And Thomas Irish all over the back of the Force India of Andre Cudranu now breaking.
Should be side by side here.
And it looks like Andre's run a little bit deep. Thomas Irish is going to try around the outside. That's not an easy overtake whatsoever. He's going to have to slot in as we start lap 3, and of course DRS is activated now. And yep, you've definitely got your teammate out of the DRS range, though. It's a nice 1.5 second gap, as you said, the fastest lap of the race so far with 1:49.242. We'll see if anybody can better that, but I mean, even just looking at the mini-map, we can really see that gap starting to form. We've, of course, got that battle for 4th position going on as those guys are going through a rouge right now, but the top 3, nobody in DRS range.
No, everyone is pretty much split up a little bit, as you can see on the mini-map as well. Like the pack is pretty spread, with a tiny gap between like 6th and 7th, I believe. But here we see Thomas on the back of Andre. He has DRS, so it should be an easy pass, and if he gets the braking done correctly, he will stay ahead. Sort of sliding here, as you saw, but yeah, he does manage to stick it up into P4 here.
Yeah, very nicely done for Thomas Irish there. Again, as you said, pretty straightforward move there with DRS. But of course, now he's got to buckle down and focus and try and get Andre out of his DRS range so that he can focus on his race and focus on Klawitsky up ahead as Hamish getting a little bit of frame rate issues. But coming towards the end of Sector 2 now, and going to be going onto the back straight pretty soon here. And
important exit here, of course.
And I'm curious at this point, since we got some gap, what was your planned strategy going into the race? When were you planning to stop and for what tires?
I was planning a one stop from the start actually, and I wanted to come in at around lap 10 initially. And I don't remember at the moment at which lap I pitted, so we're gonna find out later. I believe I did pit a lap earlier though, but yeah. The primes really last a lot longer here, and if you can like manage 10 laps on these softs, then the white wall tires will really be manageable till the end.
And Thomas there having a bit of a difficult time with the pit entrance. Not an easy pit entrance though.
No.
At Spa here, it's pretty difficult, especially in the game. It looks a lot easier on TV. Exactly. Yeah, you got to really just take your time. But into the pits now for the white wall tires, as you mentioned, the medium compound, the prime tires, and he is off and away in a 3.7 second pit stop, and popping it back up into standard as he's starting lap 6 now, and he's going to drop right down the order because of that pit, and he's going to come out in 9th position. So yeah, only DH1806 and the Lotus is still behind him, and actually that's he was stopping as well based on what I saw on the mini-map. I think he was stopping as well, so both of those guys stopping pretty early on lap 5 actually, just getting rid of those soft tires.
Yeah, really, you would expect them to do a two-stop in that case, because you can't really imagine the mediums running for like 17 laps till the end and still have pace in them. So yeah, really curious why they chose a two-stop strategy when Spa clearly lends itself to a one-stop easily.
So you, it seems obvious, but just to clarify, if they are two-stopping, then they're probably going to be doing two soft stints and one medium stint, right? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can run, well, if you're going to do a two-stop, you can like pretty much run like, I don't know, 8 laps on the softs, and then as short as possible on the mediums, let's say.
And DH already retiring, actually. That's surprising.
Yeah,
I wonder
bad
if
luck from him.
I don't, you know, because obviously we're looking back on this. Do you remember what happened with DH? Did he have a crash or something like that, or was he just a?
Well, he was the Lotus that got spun on lap 1, and I guess that something happened after that that made him really abandon his race here.
Gotcha. Very unfortunate. He is going to score points though, of course, because he was the 10th driver, so he will score a point, I should say, rather than points.
Yeah, he gets like the point for showing up, I guess.
Yeah.
for writing his name down on the top of the test sheet.
And here we are coming to the end of lap 9, and actually the gap between you and Hamish really hasn't changed all that much. Still about
No.
1.5 seconds. So Hamish is still keeping up with you, but he can't get within DRS though, as it would seem. But coming into the pits now, and I'm wondering, is Hamish going to continue on as he locks both fronts under braking for the bus stop chicane?
He has to wait for me to pit. He can't pit on the same lap.
Yeah, I guess not at that distance, certainly. Only 1.5 seconds between you guys. That's just too close. But as the lead car, you are going to get the benefit of choosing when you want to stop and it was at the end of lap 9 there. So now a 13-lap stint on the medium tires as you know, what is the longest circuit on the calendar. So certainly not an easy task, but you managed to eke out those softs for 9 laps. So it does seem like the strategy's working out so far.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to planned it on lap 10, but at lap 9 I was just sliding in a few places, and I didn't, as you could see, that Hamish is 1.5 seconds gap. I didn't want to risk him gaining more, so I decided to go for the pit stop because I knew kind of that on lap 10 your tires would have to go off and that his lap wouldn't be good anyways.
Yeah,
so,
and you want to protect against the undercut, because I'm willing to bet if he saw you continue on at the end of lap 9, he probably would have dove into the pits, and then certainly...
he could have. He was far enough from me to decide that after me, of course, yeah.
And deja vu all over again. Thomas Irish with the DRS overtake on Force India, this time the Force India of Burkhoff, as Andre Cadranu dove into the pits at the end of lap 9 there. So Thomas Irish back up into 5th position after that early pit stop, but of course he's got another pit stop to make, we assume anyway. So he's really got to pick up the pace here if he's gonna try and compensate for that extra pit stop. Of course, we don't know what everyone else is doing as far as pit stops.
No.
But we do know what Hamish is doing.
Sliding there a bit out of that exit. So yeah, his tires were going off, especially exactly as I predicted, really.
Yep, he's definitely pitting this lap, I gotta imagine.
Yeah, I'm only 10 seconds behind Klawitsky, as you could see, and Hamish was a little ahead of Klawitsky. So, yeah.
And here he comes. Oh, not the best. Yeah, lock up at the inside wheel coming into the pits. Yeah, again, just showing how difficult that pit entrance can be. But on the brakes now, and nicely through the bus stop chicane, very nicely through there. And Hamish, it looks like, is still in his stall. Even actually, the pit is in the pit. So it looks like there's going to be quite a gap there. As Thomas Irish now going past Tsushima here on the back straight. Very nice move through that curve Paul Frere there.
Yeah, looked good.
Yeah, that was very nice. Of course, he's not now Tsushima has the slipstream, and here he comes back at him. Thomas Irish going to have to defend the inside line for the bus stop chicane, but it does look like Tsushima is going to go a little bit deep, and Thomas Irish is going to hang on to that position pretty easily, as it looks like, yep, and here comes Hamish out of the pits now, and you're already through, actually. That's you going through Eau Rouge there.
Yes, the undercut clearly worked. Long lap, his tires were going off, and I had a very good outlap actually. So, yeah.
So actually, interestingly enough, the qualifying here at Spa, I would say, has made a pretty big impact, because it gave you that opportunity to pit on lap 9 rather than lap 10. So,
yeah, definitely.
You know, not normally a circuit where you would say qualifying is really important, because, you know, there's plenty of passing locations, as we've seen already so far in this race. But yeah, it's really seemed to have made a difference just by hitting that 1 lap earlier.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 seconds in 1 lap that extends on top of those 1.5 that I already had on him. And yeah, like you said, the overtakes here are fairly easy. and there goes
Oh.
Thomas's connection. So there go his nice points, because he was in 4th, I believe, before he did disconnect. So
he did have another stop to make, of course, but yeah, he was certainly looking good. He was moving his way through the field, got past Deshima, got past Burkov, so I mean, he was going really well. It seemed like he had some nice pace.
That's not really
Hamish is all over the grass there. Obviously, he's getting quite a bit of grip, even on lap 18 here. He's getting quite a bit of grip from those prime tires after stopping on lap 10. So I mean, this is only his 8th lap on that set of tires. So obviously, you know, you got the undercut, but now he has the 1 lap fresher tires. So obviously, he's pushing very hard now to try and close down that gap.
Yeah, definitely. I was seeing right now you will see that the gap has decreased by a second, but of course Hamish cut a few corners to get that second gap off. But at that moment I was like, what the fuck, why is he gaining so much on me? I'm like, wow, at 1 second in 2 sectors. And I wasn't even driving that badly, but I could feel my tires already going off a little bit. And also you can see it on my screen, because I like changed my tires, like the skins of them. So you can see they look a little sad. And
And I was just about to mention that you were getting a little low on fuel, but it looks like you're way ahead of me on that, and you were already down in lean and saving a little bit of fuel. Possibly, and that's actually what I was going to ask. At this point, you know, you see your teammate is catching up. Do you start pushing harder in order to try and prevent him, or do you maybe start saving your tires in the effort that you do have to battle him? That way you'll have more tires to try and fight against him. What's your strategy at this point?
Yeah, definitely more towards the latter of what you said, because of course you want to be controlling the gap as much as you possibly can, but also you want to have that little extra in case you need it. And me saving fuel on low grip areas with 1 tires really helps you nail those corners as well. And of course you're gonna go on rich mix on these straights, and you'll have something left of that. But ideally you want to be between -1 and optimal before you finish a race, because the car will be the lightest and technically the fastest.
Yep, on the penultimate lap now, and as we've been mentioning, that gap certainly coming down here. We're going to get a split as we come to the end of the Kemmel Straight here, and it is 2.3 seconds with just under 2 laps remaining in the race. Both of you guys doing some pretty heavy fuel saving, as you mentioned, you know, in the slower parts of the circuit and stuff like that. And yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, well, it has to be done for me, because I can't get through these corners in normal or high fuel anymore, because the tires will technically just, the back end will step out. Gotcha. And you can see just how hard Hamish is pushing there. I mean, actually putting his car a little bit off the circuit to the right-hand side for that entrance to Puan, just to give himself as good a run as he can through the corner. And nicely through this high-speed S section, the right and then the left. And coming towards the back straight for the second to last time here. And in the good exit for him.
Yeah, nicely done. 2 seconds now is the gap, but of course there's only 1 more DRS activation left in this lap, which is going to be pretty close to the beginning of the lap. So essentially he's got less than 2 sectors to try and make up 1 second gap if he's going to try and overtake you with DRS, which is not going to be easy whatsoever.
No, bus stop has to be important. I went a little deep there, so exit is wide on the curves, and yeah, the back end was a little twitchy, as you could see.
Yep, and wow, actually 0.6 of a second gained in that final sector, and going a little bit deep in La Source too, but getting a nice exit though at the very least. So you can see actually pulling away on the run down the hill towards Eau Rousse, and I do believe that it is still more. That certainly looks like more than a second gap to me. So it doesn't look like he's going to get DRS. So if he's going to try and take the lead off you in this race, he's going to have to do it without the assistance of DRS.
Yeah, that's definitely comes down to the wire here. It's dependent on who can take the corners the best, I guess. So yeah, tricky parts on these tracks, like this next corner. This one is one of the most important ones of the track, really. And you can see that my DRS broke, so no DRS for me anyways. But yeah, he takes a much tighter line here. I just don't have to grip in my tires anymore to get these lines at this point. So I guess
Yep.
one lap of difference is a lot. But yeah,
Yep.
going in 5th through this corner, normally I take it in 6th or 7th. And well,
And he was in 5th too. Yeah.
Yeah, his tires obviously are 1 lap behind mine on life span. So
Ooh, not a great corner there. Went really deep, and that sacrificed your line for the next corner, as we could see it from Hamish's point of view here.
he's definitely gaining here.
Oh yeah, big time, and he's gonna get a pretty heavy slipstream too after this curve Paul Frere. And on the back straight, he's he's very close as he gets a little twitch though, possibly from the dirty air there, and that's actually opened up the gap a little bit. Yeah, as you really pulled out because of that twitch. So it looks like that single mistake might mean the difference between victory and defeat for Hamish here, as we're coming towards the bus stop chicane, just 2 corners left, and he is nowhere in sight. Again, running a little bit deep there, missing the apex slightly, but nicely through the second part, and now it's just a straight run down to the start-finish line and win that race by not very much though at all, less than half a second. Yeah, wow. Very close, and it was also very close between Andre and Deshima there as well, less than 2 seconds separating the two of them. Klowitzki though picking up a podium. Great news for the Lotus team there after DH1806
he was
retiring early on.
In his own race, really.
Yeah, I see that actually. Yeah, he was more than 10 seconds behind you guys, but over 30 seconds ahead of Andre. So kudos to Klowitzki there. But in the Drivers' Championship, extending that lead to Klowitzki actually. Hamish though closing in on Klowitzki. That's a pretty big gap between you guys. And after 11 rounds, certainly it's looking pretty good. Mercedes now with an enormous lead. That's about 149 points difference between Mercedes and Lotus there. And with that 1-2 finish, certainly that's going to help significantly, picking up the max 43 points.
Yeah, definitely, Justin. Yes, like you see here, guys, this is it for this week. Justin, I'd like to thank you very much for being my co-commentator here, and I'll just extend the video a little bit here, so don't worry. Do you want to say anything to our viewers before we go?
No, thanks for having me. Always enjoy commentating on PC side of AOR, since that was the one that I raced for. All of AOR is great, but I'll always have a special place in my heart for the PC side.
Soft spot. Yeah, that's really nice, man. Well, I'm currently working on Italy, so I'm hoping to invite you again for that if you want to go along for that ride. And
absolutely, just let me know.
Singapore is going to be a very interesting race as well, so that should be very good for commentating, because there's plenty of action in there as well.
Awesome, I look forward to it.
Awesome, man. Well, anyways, everyone, I would like to thank for watching, and hopefully till next time on AOR.